Good evening. The navies of the Philippines, United States, and France begin their multilateral maritime exercise in the West Philippine Sea on Thursday, April 25. In an interview, Armed Forces of the Philippines Western Command spokesperson Captain Ariel Coloma says that BRP Ramon Alcaraz and BRP Davao del Sur left Puerto Princesa, Palawan at about 9 a.m., marking the start of the drills. The French frigate Vendemiaire and the USS Harper's Ferry shortly followed the Navy warships. Coloma says it is just timely for the Philippines to have the drills because the country shares the same security challenges with the partner nations. The activity, which is part of the Balikatan War Games, will see the navies of Manila, Washington, and Paris conduct various drills, including gunnery exercises and maritime search and rescue. The naval activities in the western section of the exclusive economic zone will last until April 29. This comes as a substantial increase in the number of Chinese vessels was monitored in the West Philippine Sea before the official start of the 39th iteration of Balikatan exercises on April 22. Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore Roy Vincent Trinidad, previously said that a total of 124 Chinese vessels and warships were monitored inside the country's western section of the exclusive economic zone on April 16 to 22. But despite this, Trinidad added that China is not expected to interfere with the drills. Beijing asserts sovereignty in the entire South China Sea, including most of the West Philippine Sea, but its claims have been effectively invalidated by the July 2016 arbitral tribunal ruling that stemmed from a case filed by Manila in 2013. Alleged sexual abuser and religious leader Apollo Quiboloy is still in the Philippines, according to the Department of Justice. DOJ spokesperson Assistant Secretary Miko Clavano bears this in a palace briefing on Thursday, April 25.
We do have information that he is still within the country, unless there are new developments from the police. No, but as far as our information is concerned at the DOJ, he is currently still in the country.
Clavano also says that the active cases against Quiboloy have been transferred from Davao to Pasig City.
Just as an update as well, we've transferred the cases from Davao to Pasig City so that the same team of prosecutors may be able to prosecute both cases together and jointly. No? We are still, obviously he's still at large, so the law enforcement agents are still on the lookout. And they've continued the operations to be able to arrest on the basis of the warrants that have been issued by the court.
Aside from the charges he is facing in the Philippines, Quiboloy is also on the most wanted list of the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation for Human Trafficking. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. previously told Quiboloy to submit to the due process of the law. However, the pastor said he would not surrender unless the government promised that the U.S. would not intervene. Marcos dismissed Quiboloy's request, likening it to a tail wagging of the dog. The Department of Justice says government officials who work with the International Criminal Court could be punished under the law. On April 24, former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV revealed that the ICC has already spoken to 50 former and present Philippine National Police officers regarding their involvement in former President Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs. However, in a briefing on Thursday, April 25, DOJ spokesperson Assistant Secretary Miko Clavano says that government officials may be held accountable if they go against government policies. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. earlier said that the Philippines will not lift a finger to help the probe of the ICC on the bloody war on drugs of the Duterte administration.
This is a government policy. So when a government officer or official is coordinating with the ICC against the direction or the orders and the policy of the government, there may be accountability involved. So it's, if there's any law enforcement or government official that goes against the policies and orders of the authorities in position, then obviously there will be some sort of conflict of interest. There will be accountabilities and definitely liabilities that go with it.
According to Clavano, government officials who go against government policies could be punished under the provisions of Republic Act 6713 or the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees.
So these are ethical guidelines followed by all public officials. And obviously, if you go against the policy, it will be found under those provisions, no? The liabilities.
However, the spokesperson notes that the guidelines do not apply to former officials who are now civilians.
If they are acting in their civilian capacity or personal capacity, then of course we have little to hold over them, no? However, again, we will not recognize anything that will come out of that conversation or coordination with them.
The ICC, known as the Court of Last Resort, has been investigating Duterte's war on drugs, which some human rights groups believe has left upwards of 20,000 people dead. While the National Bureau of Investigation was unable to bring former Negros Oriental Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. back to the Philippines from East Timor, Department of Justice spokesperson Assistant Secretary Mico Clavano still calls their mission a success. The DOJ is still awaiting the decision of Timor Leste courts on the Philippines' request for extradition. In a briefing, DOJ spokesperson Assistant Secretary Mico Clavano says that the operation in capturing Teves was still a success.
Actually, that operation was a success because when they had arrived in Timor Leste, 2 hours after their arrival, the arrest of Teves happened. No? And for them to come home without him is not an unsuccessful operation. In fact, it was successful because the only responsibility of the law enforcement, especially the NBI director, was to have him arrested. So it was a success.
Clavano asks the public to be more patient as the agency must be thorough.
We have taken every process possible to get this done, and we're here at the tail end now. Once he's back here in the Philippines, we hope that he will muster the courage to finally face his charges in court.
Teves is tagged in the murder of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Digamo and 9 other people in March 2023. The expelled lawmaker eluded the Philippine authorities until March 2024 when he was arrested in Timor Leste while playing golf. The Department of Justice asks for patience in the manhunt for former Bureau of Corrections chief turned fugitive Gerald Bantag. In a briefing, DOJ spokesperson Assistant Secretary Mico Clavano says that authorities are still searching for Bantag more than a year since the Philippine National Police declared him a fugitive.
We have a general idea already of his whereabouts, so it's just a matter of time. Again, with these things, we just have to stay patient. These things don't happen overnight. The wheels of justice, they grind slowly, but they grind very finely. So we just have to stay patient.
The former BuCor chief is the alleged mastermind in the killing of broadcast journalist Percival Percy Lapid Mabasa, who was slain in October 2022. In March 2023, a DOJ panel of prosecutors indicted Bantag over Mabasa's killing. Bantag has also been charged with criminal complaints over the death of inmate Hegel Lapimig Samson. Earlier this month, the National Bureau of Investigation was unable to find Bantag in 2 house raids. The percentage of families in the country who consider themselves poor has decreased by 1% from December 2023, according to social weather stations. Based on its latest survey conducted in March 2024, 46% of families said that they were poor. This translates to around 12.9 million families in the country. Meanwhile, 33% of Filipino families said they were on the borderline and 23% said they were not poor. Compared to the SWS survey conducted in December 2023, poor families were at 47%, borderline families were at 33%, and not poor families were at 20%. The SWS also said that the number of families who consider themselves poor was highest in Visayas, followed by Mindanao, Balance Luzon or Luzon, outside Metro Manila, and Metro Manila. The polling firm also found that 33% of families in the country also consider themselves to be food poor based on the type of food that they eat. 36% said that they were borderline food poor, and 41% said that they were not food poor. The survey covered 1,500 adults in Balanced Luzon and 300 in Balanced Luzon and in Metro Manila, Visayas, and Mindanao. Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. Philippines, US, and France started joint patrols in the West Philippine Sea. Department of Justice says alleged sexual abuser and religious leader Apollo Quiboloy is still in the Philippines. And Department of Justice says government officials who work with ICC could be punished under the law. These are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.